Tonight, New South Wales Far West sees employment growth and an investigation into an incident at Port Pirie's Near Star begins.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. Broken Hill has been given a confidence boost, with new data showing the Far West is the only region with more jobs now than before the pandemic. Community support, one of many reasons local businesses are thriving.
The green light for an economic reboot. This map from the Australian Bureau of Statistics showing the Far West is an oasis of employment.
Tells us about the confidence in business, about a place where people want to come and live. There's opportunities for employment, opportunities for family.
The only region in the country with more jobs now than this time last year. And while it's only a 0.3% increase, it shows the level of community support during the pandemic.
I think a lot of businesses have been honest, and when they're not doing too well, they've been open and honest with their customers, with the community, and that's meaning that people are getting behind them.
The Tidville Hotel, one of the businesses expanding and hiring over the last 12 months.
Everyone's scratching for staff, whether it's us, whether it's other hotels in town, everyone's in the same boat.
Broken Hill's unemployment rate is now just 2%, a third of the national average.
I think at the moment we actually are seeing that private sector employment. There was a big reliance once upon a time on the mining industry. That has changed.
The tourism boom we've already seen helping steer Broken Hill into the future.
You have locals investing in their community, it creates employment, and it certainly makes a better place for all of us to live in.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A 20-year-old Kurralta Park man has been charged with murder after police say he led detectives to the body of a woman in a shallow grave at Moralana Creek in the Flinders Ranges. It's believed the victim, a 21-year-old who was reported missing last week, was a previous girlfriend of the man. He was arrested and charged with failing to report a death to the coroner and was then later charged with murder. He faced Port Augusta Magistrates Court today. Meanwhile, a Broken Hill man appeared in court today after an alleged violent incident on Sunday night. Police say they were called to Harris Street at 10 p.m. A 70-year-old man was capsicum sprayed after he allegedly resisted arrest. Police say the man was then tasered after he tried to hit officers with a metal rod and glass. He was granted conditional bail at the local court yesterday, and officers sustained arm abrasions during the incident. A man is being treated for serious burns after a workplace incident at Port Pirie's Near Star lead smelter on Saturday night. In a statement, the company says the employee received burns while performing his normal duties. He was transported to the Royal Adelaide Hospital Burns Unit in a stable condition. Safe Work SA inspectors say they'll be investigating the incident. An updated master plan designed to help boost South Australia's sheep, meat and wool industry is now underway. The new blueprint set to boost revenue to $3 billion annually. Our reporter Sophia Contagonis has the story.
South Australia's updated sheep industry blueprint for the next 10 years has now been launched. The new blueprint built off the previously successful 2015 to 2020 master plan.
It was able to really unite the sheep industry and give us an opportunity to work with government and to leverage funds for research and development.
The vision involving continuous support to the state's sheep value chain by capturing market opportunities and improving management of animals on the land, all part of the blueprint's 4 key strategies.
One is supporting productivity and sustainable practices, so that's ensuring that everything that we're doing on farm is sustainable.
The second strategy is prompting a responsive and resilient supply chain. The third, fostering a growing skilled workforce.
So we want to have clear areas for career paths for people. We want to ensure that we're getting people going through university that want to work in our area.
And the fourth strategy, optimising market outcomes.
The hope is that this blueprint will ensure that we'll get more funding.
A copy of the updated sheep industry blueprint can be found on the Livestock SA website.
Still to come tonight, native species blossom at Port Augusta's Bird Lake, and the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra prepares to visit Port Lincoln. Welcome back. A 32-year-old Port Pirie man has been charged after he allegedly punched a street sign and fly-kicked a vehicle Monday afternoon. At around 3:30, a motorist reported a man kicking an oncoming vehicle on Main Road in Solomon Town. The man was arrested and charged with disorderly behaviour and will appear in court in April. Port Augusta's Bird Lake is showing decent growth of native species following seed planting and works taking place in the area late last year. Our reporter Katrina Musson has more.
It's been a long time coming, but works on Bird Lake are nearing completion as the project moves towards monitoring stages. Plants are already starting to emerge at the lake, following the planting of native seed species in September last year. In December, plant growth was measured at 5 locations across the lake, with both the northern and western sides recording the largest amount of germination.
About monitoring what we've done to date and then looking at and making sure that those seeds that we've planted are generating and giving as much opportunity to do that over the coming months.
The plants are tolerant of the lake's highly saline and arid conditions, helpful for previous issues of dust and pungent smells in the area. While growth at the lake relies on rainfall, as well as preventing damage to the soil crust and plants from people and vehicles, Stan says it's only showing positive signs.
Hopefully over the next few months, with the cooler weather, that the plants will start to take hold and eventually regrow and like we see in other areas around Bird Lake.
It's hoped continued germination and growth at the site will help combat previous issues with dust and foul smells now and into the future.
Port Lincoln Salt Festival is set to roar back to life next month, with organisers finalising preparations. The week-long event already creating a buzz around town, with some top acts on their way.
Pulling out all the stops for an action-packed week of events.
Everyone is super excited.
Port Lincoln Salt Festival shaking back to life after a 12-month hiatus.
So it's been a massive team effort.
The festival's set to have all the bells and whistles, including the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra, taking centre stage at the Nautilus Theatre next month.
I won't let out too much because I think the audience will be pleasantly surprised, but we're also going to have a guest appearance by the wonderful South Australian soprano Desiree Fran, who's going to sing some songs and some arias that people will certainly know and love.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, really. Like when you're booking a piece of history, a lot of people wouldn't have had this in their lifetime.
Musicians tuning up, returning to the seafood capital for the first time in almost 7 decades.
The players are very excited. We've had a couple of false starts out over the past few years. We've been wanting to come to Port Lincoln and just haven't been able to make it work.
It's not the only event striking the right chord, with a David Bowie tribute rock band also in the lineup. While a comedy and acrobatic performance is set to leave you in stitches.
Also got the Salt Stage with Timberwolf, Joshy Willow and Young Sawyer. So that should be a great night down on the beach as well, which is something different.
Tickets are available on the Salt Festival website. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's been a busy few months for Port Pirie's Red Cross volunteers, with their check-in phone services helping vulnerable community members. Staff say it's life-saving work and are now calling for more residents to consider volunteering.
A simple phone call that could save a life.
Hello, is that Glenys? Glenys, it's Olivia here from Red Cross Telephone Support. How are you this morning?
Volunteers say this service has been more important than ever, with some elderly residents feeling the impacts of COVID-19 restrictions.
Some people, we're the only person they speak to in a day. Some people still have family around, they have carers come in, all that sort of thing. But other people will say to us, you're the only person I speak to every day.
An incident only occurring days ago where a man was reported in danger after his phone rung out 3 times.
When we contacted their emergency contact, that was just a person that they'd met at the gym, and she had actually convinced him to get onto the service because he didn't have any family or anyone that could check up on him.
The emergency contact rushing to his home to find him stuck in the bathroom calling for help.
When she went around and checked on him, he had a fall in his bathroom and hit his head, so she took him to get checked out and whatever else. And she said how much it just highlighted how important the service actually is.
Another recent incident, a woman breaking her hip during the night and waited for Red Cross to send her help.
laying on the floor, and they've heard the phone ring once and they've heard it ring again twice, and they know after that third time that they don't answer that help is going to be on the way. So the calls are really important to make sure our elderly are looked after.
Now in need of more helping hands, residents are being encouraged to consider giving up their time.
It makes a big difference in their life that they get their call, and there are some people that every single day they say, oh thank you, I love the calls that we get from Red Cross every day.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Council calls for community input into speed limit changes in Wallaroo, and cobalt samples from Broken Hill set to be shipped by the end of the month. Hello again. The Copper Coast Council is calling for community feedback regarding the speed limit on North Beach foreshore. The survey introduced by residents raising concerns the current speed limit of 30 kilometres per hour should be reduced. It's a busy time of year for the area, and locals are encouraged to have their say through Council's website. Submissions will close at the end of the month. Cobalt Blue says its pilot program is well underway, with the first samples from Broken Hill to be produced and shipped by the end of the month. The company says demand for its product has increased beyond expectations, with 30 global partners now part of its sample program. The global cobalt market is expected to grow, the mineral a key component in lithium-ion batteries. 2 tertiary scholarships are up for grabs for regional students wanting to study away from home. The funding's set to help cover the cost of books and resources, with applications now open.
Giving regional students the best possible chance to reach their goals.
The idea is that we're giving a little bit of support to assist with the costs of moving to Adelaide and setting up or wherever the campus is.
Eyre Peninsula's Community Foundation offering 2 tertiary scholarships of $2,000 each for this year's batch of university students.
It certainly helps with the initial expenses in getting someone over and set up in their own accommodation of some sort.
For many first-year students, moving away from home to study at a university comes with a financial pinch. The funding helping students stock up on the vitals.
It's books, maybe a computer if they need a laptop or something. We don't specify what it's to be used for, it's just simply assistance with the expenses that they're confronted with when moving.
His hopes students who aspire for higher education away from the Eyre Peninsula will one day return home to strengthen the region.
We do need good, educated people over here to keep the peninsula moving.
Over the past 5 years, more than 16 scholarships have been handed out to students in need. Applications are now open until next month. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A popular hawker cafe is expanding, helping to cater for an influx of customers. Despite having the odds against them during COVID-19, the owners say renovations were necessary to keep up with the thriving business.
It's the Little Cafe, expanding its footprint in the heart of the Flinders Ranges. Despite COVID-19 challenges, Flinders Food Co is thriving and undergoing renovations after it experienced one of its busiest years on record.
The busier we got, the more we realised that to be bigger and better, we do have to expand.
Owners say while they had all the odds against them, business is doing better than ever, and now they need extra space to keep up with the demand.
Just to offer that little bit more to tourists that come up to the Flinders.
The Hawker Mayor says when business people invest in the local community, it shows they believe in the town's future.
They were running out of space before, and it's just great to see. It's confidence also in our future.
Also saying it's helping to draw visitors to the regional community and see what Hawker has to offer.
The food is magnificent. Just like our new gym, this is a wow factor. And we do have visitors now coming from a fair way away just for Doog's meals.
Renovations are expected to be completed by Easter. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have an overview on tennis, netball, basketball and softball games from the weekend. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather details. Welcome back. Tennis competitions across our region are coming to a close, with tight games laying the groundwork for some exciting grand finals this weekend. Our reporter Lachlan Itter has the details in Sport Wrap.
The grand final for the Southern Flinders Tennis Association will be held in Port Pirie this weekend in what's sure to be a close competition. Orroroo and Port Germain did battle in the semi-final on Saturday. Orroroo coming away victorious with a 23-game margin. Port Pirie made light work of Warabra, setting them up for a grand final meet with Orroroo this weekend. Tennis in Port Lincoln also getting to the pointy end of the season. In a battle of top and bottom of the ladder in mixed tennis, Sports Power put up a strong fight against McDonald's, Chris Brooks helping to deliver a win for his side. Bendigo Banks and Yamba Aquaculture taking the win in their games. In Broken Hill Netball, the New Kids have continued their strong start to the season, despite being a new team with players coming together for the first time. In last week's game, they had a 10-point win over NAB Stars. The St Joey Jesters taking the win over West Flames Black, 38-26. To men's A-grade basketball in Port Augusta now, where the two ladder leaders are separated only by percentage. That fierce competition reflected in the scores, with Eagles clawing their way to a 3-point win over Titans. A wider gap in the round's other game, Cobras securing an easy win over Wildcats. Tight games in Port Pirie's basketball too. Tomcats couldn't keep pace with the Pacers, losing 36-42. Globetrotters too good for Ducks, a 6-point margin in their game. And finally, to Wyalla's Softball League, Eagles came away victorious against Indians, 16-4, the final score there. Much closer between the Tigers and Roadrunners, just 3 runs separating the two. Now, we're always on the lookout for competitions to include in Sport Wrap. If your league would like to get involved, please do get in touch through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex.
Thanks, Ruby. Mainly fine conditions across our region today, but the weekend is looking to be a wet one, but more on that a little later. From 3 p.m, Whyalla was a mostly sunny top of 25, Port Lincoln partly cloudy 22, similar conditions in Broken Hill, 30 degrees there. Looking further out across the Gulf now, Port Augusta was 31, Port Pirie and Cooper Pedy both mostly sunny and 32. It was a top of 23 in Cleve, partly cloudy there. Mostly sunny in Kadina and Adelaide, also a high of 23 degrees. Woodner partly cloudy 27, Clare mostly sunny and 25. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud over northern South Australia in a trough is generating thunderstorms in the far northeast, some intense, only the odd light shower elsewhere. Skies are clearing in the south of the state as a high pressure ridge takes over. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, easing to 10 to 15 knots in the late morning before increasing to 20 to 25 during the afternoon. Seas 1 to 1.5 metres during the morning. South to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Partly cloudy across the region tomorrow. Port Lincoln and Cleve both set to reach a high of 24 degrees. Cloud clearing in Woodner 29. Whyalla 24. Port Augusta set to reach a high of 28. And Kadina a top of 26 there. Port Pirie 28, Cleve 23 and Broken Hill is forecast to reach a maximum of 31. Taking a look further through the week now, sunny conditions across most of the Gulf tomorrow. Cooper Pedy set to reach 36, 31 in both Port Augusta and Port Pirie. Woodner set to reach 33, Port Pirie 31, Kadina 29, Whyalla and Adelaide both 28 and partly cloudy at both Port Lincoln and Broken Hill. Heating up on Friday, set to reach a high of 40 degrees at Cooper Pedy, 33 and sunny in Broken Hill, partly cloudy in Kadina, also 33 degrees. Whyalla will top 34, partly cloudy in Woodner, 38. Port Lincoln set to reach a high of 29, also cloudy there. Port Pirie sunny and 35, while a partly cloudy top of 30 degrees if you are heading to Adelaide. The start of the weekend will kick off with some showers and storms if you're in Cooper Pedy, a top of 31 degrees there, a top of 34 in Broken Hill, 24 in Woodnar, 29 in Port Augusta, a degree cooler in Port Pirie, 27 in Whyalla, 23 set to be the top in Port Lincoln. Kadina will reach 26 degrees and a max of 25 in Adelaide. So Ruby, we should enjoy the conditions throughout the week as wet weather is on its way on the weekend. That's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.